Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Barge is getting close. I've got one arriving Monday the 11th and one on Tuesday the 12th, and oddly they seem to be on the same vehicle maybe. So anyways, that arrives next week. Definitely a full review coming on that. Also, other housekeeping notes. I'm seeing your comments. I'm a little behind on replying to everyone, but a lot of you have some requests out there for some figures, some playsets, and vehicles, and I am definitely working on those. I've replied to most of your requests to let you know it's coming, but I don't think I've gotten to everyone. Anyways, though, on to tonight's review, where we're taking a look at the Star Wars Resistance Torra Doza figure. So let's head to that table and check her out. And looking at Torra on that card, obviously this is the Star Wars Resistance line, so it's pretty much just a white card with some blue swooshes in there to fit the theme of the show. Some nice artwork of Torra off on the right side of the card, and then through the blister you see the figure, along with the helmet that is included. It's a head swap. You got a sticker on the front of the bubble stating she's seen in Star Wars Resistance. One thing to note about all of these action figures, or the cards for these figures, I think this comes as no surprise to anyone who's been collecting Star Wars for the last few years. These cards are getting a lot thinner, and in this case, all of these cards out of the case, each of them are just warped on me. I'm not going to go through this on every single video that I do for this line, but just thought I'd show it off here. On the plus side, it's pretty easy to get them back into shape too by just putting a little bit of weight on the top. On the back is the same with the rest of the line. You have a brief write-up about Torra, talking about her being a daring pilot at the Colossus. Same artwork over that you saw on the front side is also used here on the back, just a little bit smaller. And then you got two other figures being shown off that are also available in the line. Shouldn't actually say figures, they're showing off the artwork of the characters who are available in action figure form. Bottom half of the card is your legal information. And now taking a look at the figure out of the packaging, Hasbro really did a fantastic job translating this from the screen into action figure form. Obviously, as they do with these animated shows, this action figure carries that animated look from what you saw in the TV show. The head sculpt looks great. The hair sculpting also looks good as well. I think one of the key features to the paint job for the face is the nice little reflection you get of the light in her eyes. I don't know if they put a little bit of gloss on those pupils or something, but, you know, just that light plays back as the figure moves around. And otherwise, the painting around the eyes, the eyebrows, and even those little blue dots right under her eyeballs look good. And while it might be considered an accessory, this figure does come with an interchangeable helmet, and within that helmet is also a head sculpted inside there. Swapping it is relatively easy. Just pop the head off and snap on the other one. But for me, the helmet head is a touch tight to get onto the neck. I almost bent that neck backwards trying to get the helmet on, so hopefully others out there are a little bit easier to get on. But the detailing and the sculpting on the helmet also look nice. What little bit of painting you get in there is also looking good. And, well, actually, you get a lot. The helmet itself, as with the other figures, are done in the yellow plastic, and then the white's painted on, and obviously the line of red and the little bits of blue and gold that you get in there on the top of the helmet. That white around the visor does miss the mark just a little bit, but again, that is something that's probably going to vary from figure to figure. What I do like that they did here is you do, as I mentioned, have a head inside that helmet. So in this case, you're getting the eyes showing through and stuff. So that's really nice to see. With Jaeger, they just gave a glittered up visor, so you didn't see a face inside that. And I like that you get to see a face through here. You may notice on the back of her helmet that yellow plastic underneath the white painting is not fully colored. Yes, there are some edges peeking through, but I will say that I do think that my lights are really highlighting the fact that that is peeking through. When I look at this helmet outside of my lights and just to the eye, it isn't as bad as what is being seen on the camera right now. But from behind at the very bottom of the front of her mask, yes, you definitely can make out the yellow from that part. To the main body of the figure, lots of detailing in here for her costume, and like I said, everything's looking pretty accurate. Paint-wise, not everything is there. Through her hands, everything is all white. Definitely should be some black within the gloves around her hand itself. Not necessarily breaking my heart that it isn't there, since for the most part, you wouldn't know it otherwise. And while all the painting might not be on the hands, you do still have some great detailing to her costume throughout the gloves. You got some red on the top of that little shoulder piece, and that whole shoulder and vest part is separately sculpted and just loosely laying there. I'm guessing if you really wanted to, you could pop the arms off and pull the vest off, but I'm not going to do that. On the back, you can see that little chest piece does have some detailing there. Elbow pads are looking pretty good. You do have some black painting in there for the straps running around her arm, and then the white on the back of the elbow itself. There's a touch of black overspray from the straps of her elbow pads. Here also, it is being a little more exaggerated by how tight I am with my camera. You kind of see it when you're holding the figure half an arm's length away, but it's very minor. Blue costume is looking great, along with the red painted along the side of the uniform. I will say the painting to the red stripes, though, a little bit splotchy here and there. Definitely more noticeable around the waist as you're looking at it more normal and not so tight with the camera. Overall, though, still a relatively minor thing. I mean, let's face it, this is just your basic 5-point articulated figure. And I think compared to many of the figures that we have received, this one is still looking much better. And then getting through her legs, you know, most of that racing suit just continues. You do have some white painting for her kneecap stripes, and here too, you know, there should be some black painted in, but like I said, same with the hands. It just doesn't bug me one bit that it's not there. And as far as the boots that she's got on, there's a nice sculpting to that with some bits of yellow painted in front of those shin guards. And you got a little bit of wearing to the coloring of those stripes. So it's pretty nice to see. It's rather subtle and still blends in well with the rest of her uniform. As for articulation, with the head, it's on a ball joint, obviously, since you can swap it out. You get a full 360 swivel, some decent forward and back, and then also a touch side to side with the head movement. Once you swap out and put the helmet on, though, like I said, for me, things are pretty tight. All I can do is give it a swivel around, and even then, as you can see, there's some resistance with that, and it pushes back. And I'm also not getting anything forward, back, or side to side. Maybe if your helmet fits a little bit better, you might be getting a bit more range of motion there. Definitely let me know in the comment section below how that's working out for you. Moving on though, at the shoulders, you do manage to get a full 360 even with the shoulder pads in there. Since they're loose, they do slide out of the way and allow that arm to slide around. And then you got your leg articulations with the hips swinging out and then going all the way straight back. And since really the only accessory she comes with is that helmet, and we already talked about it, I guess that's where things are going to wrap up here. So overall, even though it's a rather simple figure, to me, it's just fantastic looking. Some nice bright colors to her costume, which is reflected nicely in the paint job that Hasbro did for this action figure. And of course, as you see with the other figures that are available among this first wave, she fits in very well. She is a little bit shorter of a character, and certainly they did that here with this. And hopefully, Hasbro gives us more figures from this show. And that was a look at Torra Doza from the Star Wars Resistance animated show. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.